how are they going to put this case together? It's a challenging case. It's a challenging judge. It's a challenging jury pool. I haven't heard very many people talk about this. We talked about it on the program in the immediate aftermath of the indictment. This is deep blue, Alexandria, Virginia. For those of you who know the D.C. area well, Northern Virginia, very much of a connected hotspot for the Democrat Party based on its proximity to Washington, D.C. It's not as if they went to my home state of Tennessee or Alabama or West Virginia or Wyoming, some state that overwhelmingly voted for President Trump and got an indictment. Not only did they go to a state that Trump lost, Virginia, they lost by about 5 points. They went into the bluest part of that state, one of the bluest parts in the country. And I think this should be hammered home more. I give J.D. Vance credit here. He's one of the few that has been pointing this out. For everybody out there saying, oh, this is unbelievable, this is unprecedented. We know they're liars. They didn't say anything when they tried to bankrupt, imprison, and kill Trump. But even if you wanted to make an argument that this was some sort of unprecedented attack on norms of American life, that's already happened with what Democrats did. But they did it in a rigged jury pool that advantaged them massively. We got these double indictments coming down in Northern Virginia, where likely the majority of the people on the grand jury, probably the vast majority, this is a 75-25 area that is in favor of the Democrat Party. The vast majority of these grand jurors that indicted James Comey were actually Kamala, Biden, Obama voters. Here's J.D. Vance pointing that out, cut 11.
This was a grand jury indictment delivered in Alexandria, Virginia, not exactly a hotbed of Donald Trump's political support. And to the people who are saying that this is all political, I mean, look, if you look at our track record in the Trump administration, there have been people who have been prosecuted, who have been political allies, who agree with our politics. There have been people who disagree with our politics. We're not letting politics drive this. We're letting the requirements of the justice system and the law drive this. And unfortunately for James Comey, when I look at this indictment, I see a guy who lied under oath. And he'll have his day in court. He'll have his opportunity to prove the other case in front of the jury. But the idea that this is driven by politics, I think, is preposterous.
So I think J.D. Vance is exactly right. Now, I still would argue that it's unlikely that we're going to see a conviction of James Comey because the jury pool is going to be a 75% probably Biden, Kamala voting jury pool. And I think at least one of those jurors will say, I'm not convicting James Comey because I hate President Trump. And they're not going to look at the actual facts here. Also, we've got an Obama-appointed judge who I believe is going to be very favorably disposed towards James Comey. Having said all of that, Lindsey Halligan getting a double indictment here right before the statute of limitations expires is huge. And here is, and I want to talk about some of this, here is where this can become a much more significant factor going forward. If they are able to get someone to testify against James Comey, is there someone out there in the FBI who has seen the light of day and is willing to tell the truth and knows that James Comey was encouraging leaks or leaking himself related to this Russia collusion hoax? Remember, that is what he is being prosecuted for. Not even necessarily the leaks, but just potentially perjuring himself under testimony in front of Congress. The only ways that you can prove perjury, right, are circumstantial evidence. That is all of the other factors that prove that someone knowingly lied surrounding the lie. Or, and this is a part of the circumstantial evidence, but direct evidence from someone who knows that Comey was lying. Someone who is testifying that Comey knew that his testimony was dishonest, untrue, in front of that congressional committee. That, to me, is one of the questions that I have out here. How are they going to put this case together? It's a challenging case. It's a challenging judge. It's a challenging jury pool. But Lindsey Halligan getting that indictment where she did up against the time frame is an incredible accomplishment by her. And I do think has set the table for there to be consequences for all of these acts that were put in place against President Trump. All right, no guest scheduled today. 800-282-2882. We'll take a bunch of your calls, a bunch of your talkbacks. Appreciate all of you. Again, tons of different current event stories that we are monitoring, including a hearing related to the Charlie Kirk assassination that is also taking place out in Utah that we will be on top of as well. So a lot of different breaking news stories. We're going to keep you updated on all of them as we roll through. And in the meantime, I want to tell you, it's fall. It's fall now, and the weather's getting a little cooler, and the leaves are starting to change color, and soon the leaves are going to be coming down in abundance. And if you have a ton of gutters, that means your gutters are going to be getting clogged. Now, here at the Travis household, we never have any idea what's going to be in the gutters because the boys are playing sports in the backyard all the time. I've told you guys about trying to figure out why my gutters were clogged. And then wiffle balls were all piled up for the boys, been hitting foul balls, been hitting home run balls into our gutters. We had to go up and go get those. This is what Leaf Filter is all about. You can get a free inspection, save up to 30% off your entire purchase at leaffilter.com/clay. A Leaf Filter trusted pro will clean out, realign, seal your gutters before installing Leaf Filters. Just in time for the fall, this is the time to take action. Over 1 million homeowners to date have trusted Leaf Filter. Don't spend your fall worrying about your gutters. Schedule a free inspection up to 30% off your entire purchase at leaffilter.com/clay. That's LEAF filter.com/clay. Free estimate, free inspection, 30% off at leaffilter.com/clay. That's leaffilter.com/clay. See representative for warranty details.